All right, guys, we're coming down to the end of the show, and you know what that means. It's time for us to get that goddamn grains of sand. Oh, outstanding. You know, here in Grains, of course, we're talking about that international diplomacy shit and primarily how the United States military is currently dealing with the new axis of issues that we have out there, namely China, Russia, and Iran. And so let's see what the fuck happened this week, because it just keeps getting worse, man. Pentagon pulls missile defense and other systems from Saudi Arabia and other Middle East countries. So basically, we just said, fuck it, we're done with the Middle East. We have bigger problems. We didn't finish the job. We're just gonna fucking leave, is basically what's happening here.
Yeah, that's not a great look.
Yeah, it's not terrific, but that's what the fuck they're doing, man. And what can we do? You know? Meanwhile, if we bail out on these Middle Eastern countries, who do you think's gonna swoop in to lean on the weaker ones, just like we've seen them do in the last few years? How Russia, China, and Iran will shape Afghanistan's future. So there it is. We leave the Middle East without finishing the job, and we're leaving them wide open to being forced into situations just like Iran was by countries like China and Russia. Here it is right here. Here it is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Never fucking fails. And you think that's the only country it's going to happen to? Oman is vital to Iran and China's energy agenda. Surprise! We leave them alone in the Middle East. We didn't fix the problems over there when we tried to be the world police. And now here the fuck we are, watching these weaker countries fall in line under a new axis because they have no economic choice in what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And
you know,
they're still...
What's worrisome is that, you know, people high up in the U.S. military and defense and everything, they've noticed this kind of stuff. And the scary thing is the idea that they're letting it happen. Like, this is a plot.
Right. This is
countries.
Yeah.
Because we'll get our countries or whatever.
We'll
get
them in on our
happens,
term.
you know?
Blah, blah, blah,
it's
blah,
like
blah.
They're giving up these guys. Sure.
But that's fucking insane, man. That creates so many problems in the middle of it. And, a lot of times they're just not taking it seriously enough. Iran's interest in Russian satellites is not particularly concerning to U.S. security. Didn't we just see a thing about defense satellites going up? Didn't we just fucking talk about that? Didn't we talk about Russia creating militarized satellites, and now Iran, who they've been supplying fucking weapons parts to, has an interest in getting, and that's nothing to us? Wow. What? I thought motherfuckers were coming around to it the last couple of weeks. The shit that we've talked about, I thought, okay, at least the fucking DOD is waking up to this bullshit, and now we're acting like it's no big deal, like nothing's gonna happen. But you know the fucking drill. US and allies are pushing China and Russia closer together. Yeah, we are, unfortunately. Oh, we definitely are, unfortunately. God damn.
Thank God. And then for them to be sitting around like it's no big deal, it's like, sometimes I wonder if it's sort of a deal where it's, you know, when there's a bee on your face and you're trying to be real still. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal, guys.
Maybe I could get him.
It is a big deal. There's a fucking bee on your face.
It's important, man. But will their unbreakable friendship last? Yeah, this year it's unbreakable friendship. Last year it was a fake border dispute. I don't buy anything that comes out of state-controlled media. First things fucking last. And secondly, since when do we trust the governments of either one of these countries? Because, surprise, whether or not they last depends on what we do. China urges the United States and Russia nuclear cuts and progress in Iran talks. So basically, just give us all the things we want. That's what this headline actually says. China urges everybody to give them what they want. That's what's happening here. And again, acting like this is all no big deal. But, you know, people want to go, oh, it's all just speculation. It's not like they've made any real monumental moves to cement any kind of political relationship between all of these countries that you consistently claim are part of this new axis. Oh, really? Really? Iran and Russia signed visa waiver agreement. Guess what? No passport needed to go to those countries if you live in the other one. They just EU'd themselves. I'm going to give y'all a minute with that headline to let that sink into you for just a minute.
Wow, man.
And this is for large tourist travel groups. Yeah, right. The people that are tourists going to Iran. That's who this is for? Yeah. That's doing me a big and I don't think anybody's buying it out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, big time.
God damn it. Meanwhile, Iran continues their fucking chicanery, dude. Iranian ships changing course away from Venezuela. So we've seen several times here in recent past that Iran has sent ships that are disguised as commercial ships, but are actually moving fuel and weapons to Venezuela and then partially to Cuba as well. Venezuela has been the beneficiary of a lot of things that can come from this new axis recently. And as you know, Venezuela, whose economy collapsed because of socialism, is the prime target, just like a pimp picking up a hoe off of a fucking bus stop. She doesn't know any better in this biggest city, and he exploits that knowledge. That's exactly what the fuck is happening here. China pimped Iran, put them as their bottom bitch, and used that to create a stable where they pimped Venezuela too. Huh?
Pepperjack love Fraggle Rock, dude.
That's right. Does Pepperjack look like he's playing? And I don't think that they are. But here's the thing, dude.
Shit.
After enough times of getting fucked in the ass by 3 dudes at a time, even Venezuela, becomes less and less valuable to China. People saying, oh, they're trying to help Venezuela. No, we've been telling you from the beginning they're seeking to use Venezuela to create a foothold in the region and then throw them aside like yesterday's garbage. Well, guess the fuck what?
Station, yeah.
China is using vaccines to push its agenda in Latin America, and the U.S. is behind the curve, expert says. Well, this is a terrible headline, but what it really means is China is taking a resource they have, in this case, manufactured vaccines, finding people that need it and using it to put the squeeze on them, for essentially as a goddamn protection scam. It's the mafia on a worldwide scale. So now they're pushing into manifesting their destiny all over South America. Venezuela wasn't enough. Guess what's next? China's future gateway to Latin America is a huge mega port in Peru. Venezuela served their time, and now China is tossing them to the side in favor of greener pastures. A weak socialist nation was used by a fake communist government in order to attack a capitalist nation, namely the United States. And I cannot believe that it's taking other people so long to notice that this is fucking happening. You know what I'm saying, Phil?
Man, absolutely. Well, that's what you've been saying it for how long now,
Oh,
G?
we've been on this years at this point, man. I've been trying to fucking tell you.
We have a segment called Grains of Sand on the show.
We have a segment with graphics.
This very thing.
That's how often we talk about this, man.
God damn it.
I'll tell you, glad to see the Chinese version of OSHA finally coming to Peru. Bus runs off-road and kills 27 mine workers. Goddamn, they ain't even got seatbelts, man. Holy shit, China's gonna have to whip that into shape, and they certainly aren't known for their safety record. Good Lord. But meanwhile, while all this is happening, they're still all over the place. China got their fingers in every little thing around the world right now. China's parliament to strengthen ties with Iran and Vietnam. Oh, that's not a good sign for us.
Whoops.
Yeah, and we keep talking about, oh, it's all conspiracy theory. There's no official partnership between these countries. Yeah, we just saw
starting to happen.
How Iranians no longer need a passport or a visa to go to Russia. They're just buddies now. And now we're seeing that here's official Chinese government strengthening ties with these countries and expanding. Y'all can keep calling me a fucking conspiracy theorist, but I've been proven right too many times in a row for me to buy into that shit at this point. You know what I mean, dude? It's getting ridiculous. I hate to say I fucking told you so, but I've been trying to tell you this shit for 2 fucking years.
Yeah, man. Every time we read these articles where they're catching on, it's like, yeah, welcome to the party, bro.
No shit, man. And so then what happens? They've got their Asia foothold, and they continue to expand that. They're working on their South America and Caribbean foothold, as we've seen. They've pitched fucking Venezuela to the side. So now who's going to be their new bitch? Huh? Who's their new Jodie Foster that Harvey Keitel is going to put on the corner to get Travis Bickle's money $15 at a time? Well, I bet you could take a guess.
Iceland.
Cuba is making its own smartphone with China's help. Oh,
wow,
boy.
Man.
They don't know about Wowie. They don't know about how Wowie got busted spying on the Pentagon because the American military made a deal to make smartphones with China's help. We already saw this happen. And now it's going to happen to Cuba too, man. But I'll tell you, Cuba's the new golden child. After they shipped all those weapons from Venezuela to Cuba and China callously discarded Venezuela like a used Christmas tree on the curb with its panties inside out, now they've moved on to Cuba. And oh boy, they can't wait to take him to dinner and buy him something shiny so that Cuba thinks China's actually on their side. China donates solar photovoltaic power systems to 5,000 Cuban households. Holy shit. Look at that.
Man,
Buy
that's
him
a
something
lot of
pretty.
solar.
Buy him something pretty so they'll trust you. That's what this is. That's what the fuck
kidding.
this
That's the
is,
trick.
man. And guess what? Their buddies, Russia, man, they're trying to get in on that DP and run a fucking train on Cuba if they possibly can. So they got to bring presents too. Russian Duma calls to end U.S. blockade against Cuba. So again, taking a page out of China's playbook. The U.S. is being too mean to this country. Be nice to this country. All you're doing is trying to make us look like we wouldn't help them so that that country will be on your side. Cuba has joined the Axis. That's where we're at here, friends. And guess what happens? Let me ask you what happens.
That's...
If a girl like Venezuela gets roped into a prostitution gig where a pimp like China rides them rough, uses them hard, hangs them up wet until they're useless, and then moves on to a new girl, who does Venezuela go back to? Their old boyfriend, right? They need some fucking support because they've lost the ability to do it for themselves. They've been getting covered by a pimp for too fucking long. And so what does Venezuela do after being tossed to the side? Venezuela's Maduro expresses desire for foreign aid and a Biden deal. I'm sorry. Are you fucking shitting me right now?
Wow.
Their answer to being discarded by China is that the United States should pay for it. Fuck you, Maduro. Go fuck yourself, man. Are you shitting me?
That is so messed up, bro.
This makes me legitimately angry. And I'm angry at myself because it's not Venezuelan people's fault that didn't vote this guy in. Some of them didn't ask for this shit, but if this piece of shit who ruined a beautiful country like Venezuela thinks that he's gonna get his mistakes paid for by United States tax dollars, kiss my ass, man. No fucking way.
Shit.
No deal,
No
Maduro.
shit.
No fucking deal. I don't usually get mad for real on this show, but this is bullshit.
It really is. It really is. That's messed up. Gimme. That's what it is, man.
They couldn't wait to jump into China's bed. Couldn't wait to jump in with China and go, "Ooh, that's our new boyfriend." Soon as he slaps you in the face, now you coming back to me looking for answers? Fuck you, dude. No chance.
That's what you got.
You want to talk about reconverting your country back into capitalism and getting a trade deal going that's mutually beneficial? Okay, we'll do that. I'm into that. You want to talk about a job? I'm into that. But this bullshit where China fucked us, now the U.S. has to pay for it, go fuck yourself, dude. No way. No way, man. Holy shit, dude. I'm sorry. You know, there are things that are allowable and there are things that just aren't allowable. You know what I mean? Let me give you a fucking example here. Now, here's something I think is allowable because it's pro-free speech. Chinese Communist Party linked newspaper highlights political cartoon mocking Christianity in the West after G7. Now, first of all, you don't have to say CCP linked newspaper. All businesses in China are CCP linked. That's what communism does. But even though they're talking shit about us, I don't even care. You have the right to do that. If this were America and you had the Bill of Rights, you could talk shit about the government all goddamn day long and nobody could do shit to you because that's freedom, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to stand here and pretend that these motherfuckers shouldn't have the same freedom that I do. And I'll tell you this, it actually is not bad. This is pretty good.
Look at that.
It's pretty good, dude. They did a good job.
Nice.
I will say this, the eagle with the Jesus robes and the Uncle Sam hat, dude, that's what I want to be for Halloween this year. That's awesome,
yes.
man.
That is dope.
That's the shit. That's the shit, man. Now, and again,
is that the Shiba Inu or whatever there for Dogecoin?
That's supposed to be Japan. I looked at the whole breakdown of what these countries are. There's lots of small symbolism in this image. I encourage those of you in the chat to go look this up and learn more about it. It really is well done. And even though it's talking shit directly about us, I don't think they should be censored. They should be allowed to say this. They should be allowed to say this.
See the Australians there?
Oh, yeah.
Kangaroo?
Yep, the kangaruska. And on the far left, that's the Germans, because Merkel has a famous picture where she looks like that. Of course, the British are there with us. Canadians, they're the beaver. India is the elephant. The gag there is they didn't even get a seat at the table at G7, which is accurate. I mean, they did some good work here. But like I say, I'd rather them be able to talk shit than be censored. That's what you get under the American Constitution and capitalism. You get the freedom to say what you want. The CCP would fuck you over if you said this about your government. Believe that. Believe that, man.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. I know that, but let's remember who we're talking about here, man. Chinese scientists get male rats to give birth by conjoining them with females and transplanting a uterus in a vile Frankenstein study. Ooh. That's some shit that, like,
Damn.
Almost 100 years later, we still shit on Nazi Germany for their crazy medical experiments, and rightfully so. Now, granted, we're talking about human experimentation there, and these are just rats. Rats don't have rights. I'm with you on that. But what is this? What is this advancing? What is this doing? What are you trying to prove or learn?
Man,
I don't like that, man. I don't like that at all.
No,
I
man.
rarely use the word evil because even the best villains think they're the good guys. But I can't see anything redeeming about this.
Yeah, man.
I honestly don't.
Can they stop doing, like, medical tests and shit for a little while, please?
Speaking of the new Axis trying to force their will on other people, Russian lawmakers vote to force U.S. tech giants to open local offices. Okay, guys. I don't think y'all understand how this works. So they took a vote in Russia of Russian politicians that live in Russia to vote to force U.S. tech giants to come there and open, like a Google office and stuff, for instance. They're in Russia. But you're in Russia and we're in the United States. So define force. You can't make us immigrate to your country. So when you say force, what are you talking about, Russia? Because if you say the words hot war to the United States and the military, you will regret it. You will fucking regret it. What do you mean force? I don't like that shit at all.
No.
And
they were threatening us before, and now they're trying to force us?
Yeah, I fucking doubt it, man. And you know, all of this forceful behavior always comes under the guise of some level of democratic process that supposedly happens in these countries. But look what they've done to their bitch boy Iran and what's transpired there now. Try to say this right. Ebrahim Raisi, I'm not sure on that one. Ultra-conservative judiciary chief wins Iran's presidential vote amid historically low turnout. First things first, they didn't vote because most of the people are so sick of the religion running the government there, and I can understand that. B, they use the words ultra-conservative not because it's fitting, but because they know how that will affect American audiences. This is from CNN, by the way. And D, Do you really trust a democratic election in Iran right now? Does that sound like something that would actually happen? Historically low turnout,
they'd allow happen right now.
Really? Yeah. And so who is this guy? Who is this guy, huh? Be interesting to know. Iran election results make Ebrahim Raisi president, but the U.S. cannot forgive his war crimes. American sanctions must stay in place. This is NBC News. For once, mainstream media finally noticed that war criminals being put in charge of countries that seek to blow us the fuck up maybe aren't our fucking friends, man. Aren't our fucking friends. Jesus Christ. So who is this guy? Well, if you don't know Ebrahim Raisi, he's a mass execution guy. He's a genocide guy. He's a send thousands of people to the fucking death sentence at the same time type of guy. He's the new Gaddafi. That's who this fucking guy is. Meet the new boss, same as the old, well, Gaddafi's Egypt. But you know what I mean. He's in a very similar vein. Very similar vein. I think we're going to see this guy create a dictatorship in Iran that is solely meant to bow down militarily to the CCP in order to protect their assets when a war they assume is going to happen is won by the Chinese. That's what they're doing. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I see when I look at all this. So more and more, goddamn, NBC got it right. Sanctions got to stay in place. We got to keep an eye on these motherfuckers. Holy shit. Russia's now backing Iran and Cuba as well. Holy shit. They're looking to build international ports in Peru to move weapons. Holy shit. They already said new elections would not alter their nuclear plan. And holy shit, we know they're building nuclear missiles with the help of the Chinese and the Russians. And when all of this is so obvious. Oh, they're right in the chat. Libya, not Egypt. Gaddafi was Libya, not Egypt. You guys are right.
Medium one-topping pizzas, and they're all just $5
I'm sorry,
each.
I'm getting all hopped up right here. But what I'm saying is in the middle of all these obvious problems and these obvious red flags as to how our military should treat countries that have their weapons aimed at us, what does our leadership do? Biden administration prepared to lift sanctions on Iran's top terror. That's it. I'm done. Oh, I'm fucking done. I can't do it, Phil. I can't do it.
Man.
I couldn't make this shit any more obvious. And what's the plan from our leadership? To lift sanctions on these guys? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yes.
Truth.
I don't scare you with booze. I scare you with truths.
Scary as shit.
Hold your families close, America. Stop letting them lead you into division over things that don't matter. Subtle differences between us and how we look or where we came from are unimportant in the face of our real problems. Our leadership is looking to allow nuclear activity to continue unfettered between Russia, China, and Iran. And if we were still doing a doomsday clock in this country, we'd be a fucking heartbeat away. And that's the Whale's Honest Truth, whether you're dead or alive.
And I know about your penchant for spying on my